Assalamu alaikum and welcome everyone to my channel which I have just started, and after seeing all these you might understood what this channel is all about. As the heading says, it's all about baking. So the channel name is Baking with Zeba. Me as a baker, I just started after my marriage. I started baking little by little, little by little. So this channel is all about that. It is all about basic tips and tricks which you need to bake a good cake or good bread or a good muffin. I personally love to bake, primarily because everything is so damn delicious and warm. So I hate to hear the beginners giving up on their baking dreams after being wrong in particular recipe. The key to becoming a great baker is only practice, practice and practice. I know you may fail a lot of time, your cake may become hard as a rock. Trust me, I also did that in my initial days. My cake doesn't come out good when I first tried it, but then I didn't give it up. I just went on trying, and finally now I'm here, pro at my baking skills. Touch wood, I'm good till now. And baking is a precise science. If you add too much flour, for instance, or maybe too little baking powder, you can throw off the entire recipe. So not to mention there are various other factors like the oven temperature, the ingredients quality which you have. So all those also matters, but for many people it's a headache, so they rather avoid and go to a bakery and buy whatever they want. They don't try enough to make a good cake or good cookies. In this video I will be telling you all the basic things which you need for a good baking. As you can see, there are a lot of instruments, and I am holding a shop right now in the middle of my hall, and my husband is looking at me thinking, have I gone mad? Why I have kept all these instruments on my coffee table right in center of the hall? It's all because of my friend's motivation. I'm here starting this video. Okay, but I can promise you, even if you feel like a tragedy every time you turn the oven on, these recipes which I am going to bake in my series, you will love. Okay, so these are the 7 tips while you are going to bake. You have to remember all these 7 tips. These are the golden principles of your baking. If you miss any one of this part, your cake or your recipe will be a messed up one. So the first one is room temperature. Room temperature of your ingredients whichever you are going to use. Maybe the butter, eggs, curd, buttermilk. Some recipes will demand oil. All these things whichever you are going to use, it should be in a room temperature. It should not be very chill or very hot. It will spoil your recipe. All your hard work will not gain you any result. So make sure to keep all your ingredients which you are going to use in room temperature. If you have your eggs inside your inside your refrigerator, please bring it before 1 hour or 2 hours of baking and keep it on the tabletop so that it comes to the room temperature. Same wise, butter, milk, whatever you are going to use, keep it on room temperature. So this is the first point. And then the second one, most important one, is measurement. Baking is all about measurement. If you miss the measurement, then be sure that your outlook or output is going to be a utter waste. So for example, for instance, maybe your baking recipe might demand for 1 cup of flour, but if you put more than 1 cup of flour, what will happen? Your cake will become harder. And measuring is not something very hard enough to understand. Measuring is very easy to understand. What will happen is, if you are taking a cup, for example, I have this 1 cup measurement. Can you see? Wait, let me just focus and show you. Okay, see, this is 1 cup of my measurement cup. So if you are taking flour or something, you will be digging inside the flour and taking it, and never do a mistake which most of the people I have seen they do while baking is they push in the flour so that it gets full and then they put it. Don't do that. Generally put it inside the flour, dip it and then level it like this. So all the unnecessary and extra flour which is there in your cup will fall, and only the 1 cup requirement of your measurement will be there. Same goes with your adding of baking powder, baking soda, sugar, butter, whatever it may be. Level your ingredients, measure it well. If you don't have if your recipe demands for cup measurements, you can go with cup measurements, but if your recipe demands for grams, you can use an electric waiter, which I have right here. You can use it, or if your recipe demands for mls, you can go for the cup like this, which contains ml and both grams. So measurement is very important when you are baking. If you don't know the required measurement, if you don't have the required measurement, kindly don't go for baking, because it will be a loss for your hard work. And then the third most important point is preheating the oven. Preheating is the first step which you should do before baking, before even starting to bake the cake. So when you are going to prepare the cake batter, the moment you start prepare the cake batter, you start putting your oven for preheat. So after you prepare your batter for the cake, your oven will be preheated and ready for your cake tin to go in. So always preheat the oven according to the recipe requirements. Some recipes may require 180 degrees preheating, and some recipes may require 220-degree preheating. So stick to the recipe, and then you will find that you have a success in baking. And then fourth thing is cake tins. So cake tins are very essential. If you are baking a tea cake, you need a rectangular cake tin, like a bread loaf also can be baked in rectangular cake tin. But if you want a sponge cake, you need a round baking tin, or if you want a brownie, it should be a square tin. So based on the recipe, you choose your tin wisely. And then the fifth one is, do not open the oven often. So opening the oven often is the biggest mistake all the bakers do over there, because there is a curiosity to know whether your cake has been baked or not. So that's why the people will be opening and closing, and what happens in this process is, all the heat which you generated there inside the oven after preheating, all of that will be released outside, and your oven will not have the temperature. The temperature will be fluctuating inside the oven, and your cake will not rise, and it will not be that good which it should have been. So people do all these things right, and then they do this mistake. They often open and close because to check whether the cake is cooked or not. Don't do that. Leave it to the recipe timing. If the recipe says it's 30 minutes, don't open it before 30 minutes. If the recipe says it's 35 minutes, don't open it before 35 minutes. Let it cook, and then you can check it out. That is the last thing which I'm going to tell about. Okay, so the last and thing to check whether your cake is done or not is poke test. So what is this poke test? Whenever your cake is baked, take a toothpick, or maybe a stick, or maybe something which has a long end. Put it inside the cake and bring it out. If it comes clear without any sticky batter inside the around the stick, it means that your cake is baked well. And do this in the 4 sides of the cake. If suppose it is a square cake, do it on the 4 sides. If it is a rectangular cake, do it on the 4 sides, because sometimes if you haven't mixed your batter well, what happens is one side of the cake will be cooked and other side of the cake will be uncooked. So that is why poke on the 4 sides and see if your cake is done. Then voila, you are done. That is the most important things which you have to deal with while you are going for baking. And then the another important thing is, do not worry or get stressed, because baking is not to get stressed. Baking is something which makes you stress free, which is a stress relief there. So don't get stressed. Everyone learns from their mistake. So even I learned from my mistake. I remember how many cakes I have wasted in my earlier days of baking. Either it becomes raw, it becomes uncooked, or it looks like it is cooked, but it was not cooked. These are the experience which I have gained while baking from so long years. And talk about all these stuffs which are there on my table. I'm holding a shop today. Okay, so measuring, I was telling you about the tip measuring. For measuring, there are these types of cup available in the market, which has 1 cup, half a cup, and one third cup and 1/4 cup. This is very useful in measuring your flour, sugar, oil. All those items can be measured in cup for the recipes which demands cup measurement. So if it doesn't demand cup measurement, then what to do? If a recipe says 250 grams of 225 grams of flour, then what you do? Then you have to use this thing, which is an electric weigher, where you can weigh your recipe, where you can weigh your ingredients, and then you can use it. If not this, your recipe demands ml liquid weighing procedure, then here you can buy something like this, which has mls for liquids and grams for sugar, rice, flour and everything. So apart from these three, one more important measuring tool is this, spoons. So spoons vary in sizes. This is 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon, and this is 1/4 teaspoon. So 1 tablespoon is generally about of 15 ml. If you could, this is 1 teaspoon is all tablespoon is always 15 ml. If you don't have this thing, what you can do is you can use the spoons which are available in your kitchen. The big spoons which we use for putting gravies and all, that can be counted as 1 tablespoon, and small spoons which we use for eating or rice or something, that can be used as 1 teaspoon. Okay, so this is about the measurement process, and these are the tools which are used for mixing your batter. So I have some variants here, let me show. Okay, so this is a hand whisker. We all know, we all use it in our kitchen. This can be used for creaming butter, cream, but you should have muscle strength in order to use this one. So I generally don't go with this because I have an electric mixer with me. I use this, but I don't really use this because I don't have that much of muscle strength to go on beating my cake batter, and moreover it takes more time in order to beat with this. So I don't usually prefer this, but you can do this if you have muscle strength. And then these two are the attachments of the electric mixer. So I have an electric mixer here, which is a companion, which is a friend, and which is a soulmate for the bakers. Without this, we bakers can't do anything. Yeah, so it comes with two attachments. This is one attachment and this is the other one. This is commonly used for mixing the cake batters and liquid batters, all those things. And this attachment is called as dough kneader. So this one is used for breads, for making mixing breads, for garlic bread, naan, even for chapatis you can bake, you can knead using this. Without using your hands, you can do with this. So it makes your bread very soft and fluffy when you knead with this attachment. So these two came with the electric beater, and I use this for dough and this for cakes and other items. And this one is a spatula, which is very essential to collect all your batter together and pour it into the cake tins and all. So these are the 4 mixing ingredients items which I use. Okay, now let's move on to the next thing. Many of them have a confusion about baking powder and baking soda. Baking soda is different and baking powder is different. Baking powder usually goes in all the cake recipes. Baking powder is very much important in all the recipes. Baking powder you can buy in any supermarket, any grocery store. You will find both baking powder and both baking soda. Never ever confuse it with baking soda and baking powder, because both have different actions in your cake. Some cake will demand both, some cake will demand only baking powder. So most of my recipes I generally try to avoid baking soda, and I only use baking powder. Okay, so this is about this, and these two are, this is a knife which is a bread knife which can be used for cutting the bread, and this one is not a knife, it is for applying the cream, whipped cream on your cake while you're decorating your cake with frosting or cream. You can use this in order to whip it, in order to apply on it on your cake. And then these two are the tart tins. There is a plate inside this, but I couldn't take it out because my hand did reach, it was on the top of my cabinet. So this is a tart tin which can be used to prepare tarts, fruit tarts, maybe savory tarts. You can prepare this with this one. And these are cupcake liners which I have in a silicone material. So for making cupcakes, muffins, you can use this liners and make it. And you can also use paper, cupcake papers, or while liner papers are available, you can also use that, but that is one time use. This you can use it anytime, you can wash and repeat and use this one. Okay, then the next thing which I have is cookie cutter. So whenever you are making biscuits, you might need some fancy type of biscuits. So for that sake, we can use this cookie cutter, which comes in various shapes. Nowadays it's loaded in market. You can buy any type of cookie cutter in the market. So I have this set of cookie cutter which I generally use for making my cookies or biscuits. Okay, these are the tins which I was talking to you about in the tips. So this is a rectangular tin which can be used to bake bread loaf. This has been used a lot, so that's why all this scars are there, because I have used it. I'm using this from past maybe 4 or 5 years. This one I'm having with me. I make my tea cake in this, bread loaves in this, and sometimes I usually do brownies also in this in order to gain this shape. So yeah, this is a rectangular cake tin, and this one is a square cake tin which is used for puddings, custards, and brownie. All these can be made with this. And also you can make garlic bread. You can keep the bread, garlic bread here, and then bake it. So this is a rectangular square tin, and this is cupcake molds. So this is what I was telling you about. If you have this molds, you can put a liner paper here and then you can bake it directly. If you don't have that, you can individually use this, put batter into this and keep it here and bake it like this. So either you can use this or use this with a cupcake liner. But this one will not fit here because this is a triangular one, and this is a square one and this is a circle, so it will not fit. It is good for individually baking each and every cupcakes. So this is for cupcakes or muffins, and these are sponge cake tins. So this is a small tin which I have, which I usually make it for small cakes, and for birthdays we require a large quantity of cake, right? Because birthday cakes are loaded with creams and all those things, and everybody likes to eat. So for that we need a big baking dish. This one is the latest model which everybody uses now. This is like, you can easily demold the cake from this by just pulling this one, and then this comes out very easily. So you don't have to grease anything, put all those things. You can just without any struggle demold the cake from this. But from these cake tins you will have to put some, you will have to put apply some baking paper and butter and all those things in order to demold the cake very easily. Okay, and one more tip I forgot to tell you all is greasing your cake tins is very important. Greasing is nothing but just applying butter or oil to all the sides of the cake and to all the sides of the pan and to the bottom of the pan, or just use butter paper, grease this with oil and place it inside and put the batter and bake it off. So this is very important in order to make your cake come out very easily from the cake tin. Okay, so this is all about the cake tins. And these are the bowls which I used for mixing my batters. This is the large bowl I have. In this I usually make all my cake batters, mix all my cake batters in this. This consists of huge quantity, so we can make big cakes batter in this. And if you don't have a glass bowl, you can also use a steel bowl, which is right here, which is of the same quantity. You can use this also. There is no necessary that you have to use only the glass bowl, but this is prescribed for baking. This is generally found in every household. We can use this also. And for creaming, whenever you make whipped cream, for that it is preferable you go with a glass bowl, because it gets whipped up very quick. But in steel it gets takes little bit time, but it can be whipped in this also, but it takes a little time to whip in this. And a small bowl for your dry ingredients, whichever you want to keep it in this, and then mix it with the wet ingredients in the large bowl. And a sieve is very essential. If you don't sieve your flour, you will not create the air pockets inside the cake batter. What your siever does is, when you flour from the siever, the flour goes and settles with lots of air pockets, so it allows you to create air pocket inside your cake batter, which in turn makes your cake fluffier and more spongier. So siever is very important to sieve all your dry ingredients. All you can do is put all your dry ingredients, so cocoa powder, maida, baking powder, sugar and salt, all these things, whisk it up and put it in the wet ingredient. That's it. So yeah guys, I have almost covered all the basic tips of baking, and we will start our journey from here on. I'll be keep on posting some simple basic baking recipes which you can try at your home, and let me know if it comes out good. You're always welcome for your suggestions. Okay, take care, happy baking.